Sunday is going to be like a choose your own adventure game. The Niners can be anywhere from the number 1 to the number 3 seed. Let's look at what the adventures can be. New Sprint Right Option podcast starts now.
Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners. Sprint Right Option podcast. It is a new Sprint Right Option podcast, the podcast with the bangiest intro on 49ers Twitter. I am Andrew Pasquini, joined as always by the beautiful, the incomparable, the Yankee fan, Jason Aponte. Jason, how you doing on this lovely Friday evening?
Loving it because in a few days we'll get an announcement that Carlos Correa has signed with the New York Yankees, and it'll be incredible, man. I mean, you'll be able to see Judge and Correa, and it'll be exactly what you wanted. Yes. No,
yeah. I think that'd be more of a meme on Mets fans and Giants fans. I think
that's
the Giants looking pretty good right now.
I mean, that's funny that you bring that up. Is everybody was killing the Giants, and all of a sudden now the Mets are doing the same exact thing, and it's like, man, maybe the Giants weren't crazy. So I'm gonna go back to what I said earlier in this process. Get off of Farhan's back, man. Please get off this man's back, please, man. It's not his fault.
We love Farhan here.
So today's a bit of a bittersweet episode. I realized yesterday that there was no game for me to complain about being bored with on Amazon, and that was my first sign that football's coming to a close. And you hear 18 weeks, it feels like it's going to be a ton of time, right? Like it's like, oh my God, like there's a whole bunch of time, and it just flies by. I guess time flies when you're winning 9 or 10 games in a row. But yeah, man, this feels very, very bittersweet right now because yes, the 49ers have another football game after.
Yes.
But man, like what are we going to do with ourselves when football's over? It's about to be done.
It feels like it was just yesterday, Jason Aponte, that I came on this podcast in July, and I'm pretty sure I said the exact words of like, I'm tired of talking about Brock Purdy. I'm ready to talk about real football games. And here we are talking about Brock Purdy and real football games. And it's 2023. We didn't even touch on that on Monday. It's a new year. It's 2023. After this Sunday, there is 16 games left in the NFL season, or 14, or whatever the playoff total is. And I don't know if I'm fully ready for it. I think we're a little lucky that we get to talk about a playoff team, which is cool that we get to talk a little into the year. But man, waking up, 9:30, 9:45 on a Sunday and flipping on Red Zone, it's just a feel. It's a vibe. And this is the last Sunday we're going to get to do it for a pretty long time.
And look at us covering a team that has back-to-back playoff berths. We started this podcast in 2020. Some would say the worst of times, the darkest of times, and 2 straight seasons of covering a playoff team. But I can't help but feel a bit sad that all of the things that I'm going to have to do housework on Sundays soon. I'm going to have to.
I know.
I'm going to have to go do things. Like I'm going to have to go to Target, maybe Bed Bath & Beyond. I don't know. I don't know if I'll have enough time. That's an old school reference.
That's the secret, though, of getting into Premier League is now you extend the once a week thing to May.
Yeah. Andrew, If I even try to incorporate new sports into my process, it would be, just say something nice at my funeral, pretty much.
If it wasn't for COVID, Jordan would be coming over to my apartment tomorrow to watch Liverpool versus Wolves. You know how exciting that would have been? Hey, no, it's okay. I'm over it. I'm saying that like lightheartedly and not a bad thing.
But I mean, a lot of people
take my emergency.
A lot of people ask me like, well, why don't you watch college football? Can you imagine me saying, hey, listen, I need Saturday and Sunday off, and I need you to leave me alone? Are you kidding me? What? I mean, I would be dead. So yeah, I mean, I can't help but look back on this year. What a fun time! But yeah, it's almost done. It's just about done.
Yeah, college football for me, it doesn't start until like next week when we start talking draft. Really, Michigan lost last week, which is all I cared about in college football this year. But yeah, college football to me is about to start
Wait,
because it's draft season.
Andrew Pasquini, Jim Harbaugh can't get it done in a big game?
I wouldn't know what that feels. I literally tried. I tweeted the best part of being a Jim Harbaugh fan is there's always next year.
I mean, he's better than
Actually,
Shanahan. He's better than Shanahan. I want Harbaugh back for what? So you could lose right before the big game or lose in the big game? What's the difference?
Can we have the question? Because I think it's something that we might have to face as 49er fans. Is my love of Jim Harbaugh enough to make me kind of hope Russell Wilson does well? Because that's an interesting conversation. Absolutely with him not. Maybe going to the Broncos.
Absolutely not. He should be the Indianapolis coach. Okay. He should be the Indianapolis Colts coach. Yep. Derek Carr goes over there, and Derek Carr gets his career revitalized. Absolutely. Yes. Russell Wilson deserves nothing. He doesn't deserve a good coach, and he deserves no happiness. I will not hear of any of that. None of it.
That was a short conversation. I expected that to be like an interesting conversation. Nope. No, we're just not cheering for Russ. Nope. That makes sense. It's okay. I get it. Russell Wilson has hurt me more often than he hasn't. So I get that thought. Jason, we're all over the place. We are kind of like delaying what I don't really want to do, which is talk about the Niners and Cardinals, to be 100% honest.
Why not? Because you don't want, Andrew, you don't want to predict the blowout for a game that is going to come down to the wire and then have everyone else come at you and say, that's what you get for predicting a blowout.
Yeah, no, that's that and to like the only interesting narrative I think I can come up with is this is a Hoomst revenge game. You ready for this one?
Ooh,
Nate Sudfeld.
Yeah, why?
Because Brock Purdy making the Niners is why Nate Sudfeld isn't on the Niners. But the reason David Blau isn't on the Lions is because of Nate Sudfeld.
Well.
So there's that tie. David Blau versus Brock Purdy.
Let's take it a step further.
That's the only thing that's got me interested in this game.
Let's take it a step further. If the Seattle Seahawks fumble the bag this weekend against the Rams,
yes,
and Jared Goff finds a way to knock off the Packers, then Nate Sudfeld may have a chance at his revenge on the bench.
Oh my God.
In wildcard weekend against the San Francisco 49ers. That's my segue into talking about the playoff picture. But there is a really good thing here that I do want to talk about that I just saw come across. It is JJ Watt's last game.
Yes.
And I do want to highlight the fact that JJ Watt is an absolute fucking legend. And I enjoy watching this man play football. I am scared to death about what he may do in this game just because he has shown that he still has plenty in the tank. Go back 2 weeks ago against Tampa Bay. He looked like the guy that was in Houston. There is no better spokesperson, overall, likable guy, just guy that you can gravitate to in the NFL than JJ Watt. Hall of Famer, gold jacket, all of that shit. Congratulations, JJ Watt. Enjoy fatherhood. Enjoy your family. But damn, it's going to suck to not watch you play on Sundays anymore, man, because you were a one of one. Absolutely.
Yeah, I actually real quick wanted to mention this. I listened to Part in My Take, and Taylor Lewan and Will Compton were on last week. And they talked about JJ Watt because the news had just come out that he announced his retirement, which, by the way, the Cardinals did not know, which was kind of a fun Hard Knocks thing. But which shocker, the Cardinals not knowing things going on.
So wait, the Cardinals are an inept organization? Color me shocked.
But they were talking, because they're both offensive linemen, they were talking about how JJ Watt would spend the first few series lining up against different offensive linemen and finding the matchup. Because JJ Watt could line up against anybody on the offensive line and be a very good pass rusher. So he would spend the first few just moving around the line, seeing who had the bad day that day, and then that's who that he would pick on. So there's that. That's a fun JJ Watt story. But him having his last game at Levi Stadium is kind of a random Levi Stadium fact that the JJ Watt's ending his career on the Cardinals in Levi Stadium. But that's definitely something to watch as well. But like, so outside of the Nate Sudfeld tie-in and the JJ Watt thing, I don't want this episode to necessarily be a preview of the game, because I think what week 18 is for the 49ers is more about the weekend as a whole. Because as I said at the top, the Niners can be anywhere from the number 1 to the number 3 seed. That has different things. Obviously, the best case is the 1 seed. The Niners get a bye and they'll be home field throughout the NFC playoffs. In theory, the worst case scenario is the number 3 seed. That I think this is where a lot of the conversation is going to come from. Because as I said, the Niners should take care of business, right? They should take care of business against the Cardinals, but at the same time, allow me to flip it and then tell you that the Giants should be able to beat the Eagles, right? The football Giants, we're all Giants fans here. So I guess that's where we'll start is the seeding. So just a real quick, overview of what can happen. Niners win, Eagles lose, the Niners are the 1 seed. The Niners win, Eagles win. The Niners are the 2 seed. If the Niners lose and the Vikings win, the Niners are the 3 seed. So a win at worst, the 49ers are the 2 seed. A loss at best are the 2 seed, at worst the 3 seed. And I guess that's where the conversation starts. Is obviously I think the 1 seed's ideal, but Jason, what do you think? Let's break it into the 3 spots. What you think is the most likely scenario? What is the best case scenario? We'll start with the best case scenario on the 1 seed. What you think is the most likeliest, and what in your mind is the worst case scenario, which I think the worst case scenario is where the conversation gets fun. So start with the best case scenario and the obvious one, Jason.
All right. Obviously, the 1st seed is the best case, but I want to send a message to the New York Football Giants, Brian Daboll, Tyrod Taylor, and whoever.
Just open your window.
And who will be taking the field on Sunday. Do your job on Sunday or get eliminated by the 49ers 1 week from now. Get out of the 49ers way. No, that's right. They won't. Because the Packers are going to get in a 7-2-7, 3-6, 4-5. Okay, I take it back. Do your job and don't anger the football gods. Okay? Don't mess around. Don't mess around here. And I don't think that the Giants have earned the luxury of being able to say we can rest our guys. Like, who are you resting? Richie James, Isaiah Hodgins,
DJ Jones, Daniel Jones.
Who are you resting? The idea of you going into the playoffs with momentum, I think carries more weight than you trying to save your wide receiver 7 and 8. Mm-hmm. Kenny Golladay, there's a funny little meme that's out there. Kenny Golladay needs 75 catches to get $750,000 bonus. That's he has, I think, 17 catches as a New York Giant. Who exactly are you resting? And what are you resting?
I saw a stat that he needs 84 receptions to hit a $500,000 bonus in his
that's
contract.
What I'm saying. It's like 75.
So 84 receptions,
yeah, something like that. All right, so look. You know, Brian Daboll right after the game said, we're not resting anybody. That was basically him off of the rush of the victory, right? Him just being hyped up, we can take on the world. We made the playoffs, and he should be happy. But this is a message right here. I'm looking at you, Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor, your time is coming to the end in the NFL. Nobody believes in you, Tyrod. What are you going to do to make everybody shut up? You need to go out there and lay it all on the line, not only for your football career, but you need to go out there and be a 49ers legend. Get this team the number 1 seed. But the most likely thing is that the 49ers are going to end up with the 2nd seed, as the Eagles will be laying it all on the line themselves, because they do need to win this game to get this bye week for everybody else.
Yeah, and we like to talk about trap games here. Maybe a trap game for the Eagles, because they've really played their entire season not really stressing. I mean, they were 13-1 a couple weeks ago. The fact that the 1 seed is even here on the table in week 18 is a bit of a surprise for 49er fans. I would think, 3 weeks ago, I literally said, hey, man, just pay attention to what the Vikings do because the 2 seed. So maybe there's a little bit of pressure on the Eagles now that they're in a situation, because going from a hey man, we're totally fine into a must-win situation, I don't think that's too easy of a transition.
Do you get this one?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
I do get this one. Yes, okay. I know Rocky. I understand that movie. I love that. That's the new thing. It's just hey, Andrew, do you get this?
I just wanted to make sure you got it. That's it.
Yes,
that's
I got
it. Yep.
So yeah, I think the easy one to get out of the way is the best case scenario, the 1 seed. Gray Fox, thank you for the donation. Shanahan said that McCaffrey will play, which I think is a dumb decision, as he could aggravate his ankle in a game that could easily be won without him. Your thoughts? Not to take like Kyle Shanahan's saying, but like we could all be dead on Sunday as well. That doesn't change the fact that like we're just gonna wake up on Sunday, things like that. So no, I'm not too worried about it. I think the Niners are still in a situation where you would like to win this game. And the best way to ensure to win this game is have your best players play, which is why Deebo Samuel is going to play. He needs to get some reps going into the postseason as well. Ideally, the case is you see these guys only play a half because the Niners put it on the Cardinals in the first half, and they have no reason to play. You're essentially going to play these guys to rest them in the second half. That's why these guys are going to play. So I understand the logic of it being a dumb decision, but you got to play your best guys in a situation they have to win.
Yeah, just have your best guys for a few quarters. You can have him play, but limit his touches. That doesn't mean. I think when Shanahan says McCaffrey's going to play, it doesn't mean 29, 30 touches. I think you can have him on the field, manage his reps, and still be able to put up points, and still be able to rest him. So, there is something to momentum. There is something to sharpness, all of those things. We have to remember Brock Purdy is starting his 5th game.
Yeah.
And no matter how good the offense looks, you still would like that young man to have reps with his starters, right? And that's why Deebo Samuel is going to play. So you're trying to build all these things before you head into the playoffs, just to be as sharp as you can be, while knowing that you can still have this game wrapped up pretty handily, especially if the scoreboard reflects whatever it reflects. Like if they look up at the scoreboard real quick and Kyle Shanahan takes a peek and he's in the second quarter and the Eagles are up 28-0. I think it's pretty solid. Like, where you're going to be. So what you have to do is just finish your game out. Make sure you finish the game with a W and you go into the best standing. So I understand the sentiment. It makes sense. You obviously don't want to have Christian McCaffrey injured because he's so vital to the offense. But there is a way to do this, and I think that they'll still find a way to do it. You still have things that you need to do on the offensive end to help guys hit milestone. You got to get 44 yards for Brandon Ayuk. George Kittle has a chance to pass Travis Kelce for the most yards in the first 6 seasons of any tight end. I mean, well, third most because Kellen Winslow and Jimmy Graham are ahead of him. But you still have to get these things done as well, too. So there's ways to move the ball around. I would suspect that you'd see TDP and, dare I say, Jordan Mason for extended reps, which might be cool. So, yeah, I get the sentiment, but I don't think it's going to be like full-on McCaffrey, is my opinion.
Exactly. Yeah. So there you go. I think Jason gave you a very, very good answer there. As I said, we understand the thought of it. It's a little more complicated than that. And as fans, I think we can think of that. But Shanahan and the Niners staff have a lot of things to think about going into this game. There's a lot of moving parts, and I think obviously the Philadelphia game, what's going on there as well, is going to play a role in it. So we'll see what happens. Jason, we talked about the best case scenario, the 1 seed. The likeliest scenario here, based off of matchups, I think the likeliest scenario is Minnesota beats the Bears, right? Which means the Niners would have to win. I think the likeliest scenario is the Niners beat the Cardinals and the Eagles beat the Giants, which would mean the Niners sit at the 2 seed. I think we're both agreed that that's the likeliest scenario for the 49ers coming out of Sunday.
Yes, and that's fine. If we want to talk about what we think is going to happen, I believe that the Green Bay Packers are going to beat the Detroit Lions, even though we are standing the Detroit Lions no matter what for the homie Don Burr. If the Lions are eliminated before Sunday Night Football, and I think there's a lot of people's contention with them getting Sunday Night Football, because if Seattle wins, I think they don't have a chance to get in or anything like that, and then that'll be decided earlier. But Dan Campbell's going to have those boys ready to go and try to ruin. If they can keep the Packers out, I think that's just as good. And it's so funny. There's 2 teams on Hard Knocks. One team actually played close enough to get to the playoffs. The other team just lives in the shitter. And I think that's hilarious because their fans are, the 4 fans that they have are obnoxious on Twitter. It's hilarious to me because they're just like, the 49ers are going to choke. Well, you choke in October and in September. Like, don't worry about that.
I don't think I've ever had a Cardinals fan in my mentions.
I have one Cardinals fan that continues to berate me and try to talk crazy to me, even though I told him in the offseason, you need to relax. You need to look at, October, November, December, because those months beat your ass worse than any other NFL team. But credit the Cardinals. Again, I'll say this again. This is a running joke. They changed the narrative. They didn't fold at the end of the year. They folded early in the year. So they didn't choke this year. They didn't choke. Good for them. Goodness, man.
Hey, thank you, Gammon, so much for the donation. We appreciate you. Day one right there. Like, subscribe, stop thinking of it as work. Try not to think of it as a commercial ad. You're here because you're investing your time here because it brings you knowledge and most importantly, brings you joy. Shout out while you watch this program. We appreciate you, Gammon. Thank you so much for the donation.
Gammon,
means the
shout
world
out to the
us.
Mod Squad. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you so much. I mean, the generosity, man, and I appreciate you for keeping us in line and having us donate to charity, all that stuff. We, like I said, well, he saw it. We sent them the receipt of everything that we did as well too. But
we appreciate Gammon.
That really means a lot.
Gammon.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the Lions. Like, I feel like Lion fans at the start of the season, if you asked them what would you rather do, knowing where they were, would you rather be able to say you eliminated the Packers from the playoffs or make the playoffs? And I think thinking of what the team was back in August, I think they said we'd rather knock the Packers out of the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
playoffs is a wild. The fact that the Lions are in a situation to be in the playoffs is amazing, and that's why I think Dan Cameron, guy just combined a bunch of names. Dan Campbell, that's why I think he is the favorite for Coach of the Year. Nothing against Kyle Shanahan personally. I just really do think the Lions and what Dan Campbell's done there, especially with the narrative of him not being a good coach and all that stuff that I see pop up on the timeline every so often. I think what he's done in Detroit is nothing short of amazing.
Yeah.
So we got best case, we got likeliest. Now this is where I think the conversation gets a little fun. Can I tell you what I think the worst case scenario is?
Go for it.
I don't think it's the 3 seed. I think with where you're at as the 49ers, if you fall to the 3 seed, you're playing the New York Giants no matter what. That's a win.
All right, Andrew.
If the Vikings take care of business, you're going to Minnesota. And I've told you, Westeros, the Moon, Minnesota, Santa Clara, I don't care. The Niners are beating the Vikings. The reason I am concerned about the number 2 seed is 2 words: Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
And that is my concern in the 2 seed because I think the likeliest scenario is Seattle beats the Rams, which eliminate the Lions.
I think so
and
too.
I think the Packers beat the Lions. Nothing against the Lions. We love the Lions. Very pro Lions podcast. I think with the way the Packers are playing, and like I could just already picture Aaron Rodgers with a smug smile at the end of the game. Like, yeah, we still made the playoffs. I think the likeliest scenario is the Niners have the 2 seed. We've already established that. I am terrified of playing the Packers right now. And I feel the comments yelling at me already about the Andrew. Niners and the Packers in the playoffs, Andrew. I was told that last playoffs when the Niners played the Rams, right? Like, hey, the Niners should beat the Rams, doesn't matter. I'm looking into the camera and I want everybody else to look at the camera that I can't see them through because that's not how this works. I can't see people. And tell me that you are comfortable with the way the 49ers secondary has been of late. You are comfortable facing Aaron Rodgers right now? I don't know. It's a little scary.
All right. Andrew, allow me to retort respectfully. Okay, look. First of all, the New York Giants thing, you are making this incredibly personal with me if you face the New York Football Giants, because if the San Francisco 49ers do not go out there and beat the Giants, I am in a world of trouble.
Yes.
And look, I believe that they will. I don't want that issue because Giants fans are super annoying. And I don't know any Packers fans. But I do want to run down the Packers' last few victories. Okay? All right. So after they beat the Cowboys on November 13th in overtime, which we would agree the Cowboys choked that game away. They played dog shit down the stretch. Dak threw a bunch of picks. Okay. They lost to the Packers. I mean, they lost to the Packers. They lost to the Titans at home.
Okay.
The Titans walked them. They lost to the Eagles. They beat the Bears, the Baker Mayfield Rams, the Miami Dolphins, the fraud Vikings.
Okay.
Excuse me if I'm not exactly shaking in my boots because they've run through the gauntlet of opponents. They're still the 29th ranked rushing defense in DVOA,
Fair.
and Devontae Adams don't walk through that door anymore.
Fair.
So there's a team that is out there that has a better defense than last year, that held this Packers defense down and didn't score an offensive touchdown and walked out with a win in Lambeau Field, which we could agree was probably the most unlikely of circumstances.
Yeah.
Okay, but the defense held them down. I'm tired of everybody telling me that you need to be scared of a team that is markedly worse, if you ask me, in my opinion, than they were last year, against a team that is better now this year, not only running the ball, but defensively. So for me, my question about the Green Bay Packers is, why all of a sudden do they become the team that nobody wants to play? Because they beat the Dolphins, who the 49ers beat. They beat the Baker Mayfield Rams, and they beat the fraudulent Vikings. I'm trying to figure out what exactly about those victories has shown you that all of a sudden, shit, it's Aaron Rodgers. When the 49ers have handled Aaron Rodgers, Colin Kaepernick, Jimmy Garoppolo twice, I'm trying to figure out why this team is all of a sudden better than they were last year. And let's not forget, Colin D'Amico know exactly what they want to do on offense and defense. Like, what exactly is the fear? Now, look, the fear is this. Here, let me flip it and let me get on Andrew's side. Aaron Rodgers. Is incredible. Aaron Rodgers is incredible. Okay. But that man has not struck fear in me for a long time. And even the game that they won, the home opener last season, the 49ers went down and took the lead. And if not for one or two, just slight coverage busts, all of a sudden the 49ers win that game also. Look, man, I'm probably going to catch a lot of heat for this. If it does end up being this way, and God forbid it ends up this way, everybody's going to say, Jason's overconfident, because I'm always overconfident. Sorry that I thought that the 49ers were going to beat the terrible. No, but I'm sorry that I thought the 49ers were going to beat the terrible Atlanta Falcons. Sorry that I thought the 49ers were going to dog walk the Las Vegas Raiders with Jarrett Stidham. Sorry that I'm not afraid of Aaron Rodgers. Sorry, okay? My bad. Oh, I was completely out of my mind when I thought those things. But for me, it's like, this team is not better than they were last year. And this little 4-game winning streak against who they played, that doesn't scare me in any way. I would argue the 49ers have beaten better teams down this stretch with Brock Purdy than they have. Tampa Bay, Washington, Seattle. Like, those three teams are better than probably any of the teams that the Green Bay Packers have beaten. And some of them they barely beat. So I'm not trying to go with you. It's just more about the whole point is this. The national media continues to prop up and tell you, shit, you don't want to see the Packers. I don't care. If everyone believes that this team is on their way to where they are, at least the NFC title game, then why would the Packers all of a sudden jump up as this big roadblock that all of a sudden is not, shit, man, you can't do anything against them, when they're still bad at defending the run? They still don't have a threat outside of outside the numbers that you can consistently bet on. Like, Christian Watson has been fine. Romeo Dobbs has been fine in stretches. They're not Devontae Adams. And it's still Matt LaFleur, and they know exactly what they want to do. I'm good on the Packers, Andrew. I'm good on them, man.
So you kind of mentioned my point. One of my points I wanted to make about talking about the teams the Packers have beat during this 4-game winning streak. And you made it a little bit, mentioning the Dolphins, the Buccaneers, the Seahawks. The Niners haven't really beaten a good team other than the Chargers in this winning streak, right? I think the Buccaneers are fine. Tampa Bay? Tampa Bay is in the playoffs, but
Seattle's a playoff team as of Friday, 8:43.
Fair. That is fair too. My only doubt, and this kind of is like my remember back in week 2 when I was like, hey man, should I be afraid of Seattle still just because they're Seattle? It's a little bit into this territory of the last few times the 49ers played the Packers, 2019 postseason, last season's postseason, they weren't expected to beat the Packers. Right. I know 2019, the Niners were very good. I still think a lot of people thought the Packers were better in 19. And I think a lot of people thought the Packers were better last season. I think it would be the most Aaron Rodgers thing to do to the 49ers in the one time where the Niners are markedly the better team than the Green Bay. Like, obviously the better team than the Green Bay Packers. I feel like it'd be the most Aaron Rodgers thing for it to be that game that he figures out the 49ers defense. And I don't even want to put that. Listen, if you tell me the Niners are the 2 seed and you're playing Seattle or you're playing Detroit, sign me up. Sign me up. I know the Niners can beat Seattle. I know the Niners can beat Detroit. I'm 98.3% confident they can beat the Green Bay Packers. I am just afraid of Aaron Rodgers, especially with how this Niners secondary is playing.
And of course, if someone made a good point in here, streaks are meant to end, right? You know, you played the Rams 3 times. One of those games has to go that way. It's the NFL. You keep playing Aaron Rodgers. Okay. It's just, if there was ever a time for Aaron Rodgers to do it, it would have been last year when they were markedly bad. They won 13 games last year. They had the bye week. It's not going to be the year that all of a sudden that they just like sneak in, that they're the most nerve-wracking, in my opinion.
I have a hot take as well. I think the game being in Santa Clara is better for the Packers than it being in Green Bay, because I think the 49ers, as they are currently built right now, are a better cold weather team. And if you take the cold weather out of it and you put it, and it might be a little rainy in Santa Clara if this game does happen next week against the Packers, but it won't be frozen tundra. It'll be 55 and rain, which is normal football weather. So I don't know. Listen, I'm not trying to talk anybody out of the Niners beating the Packers. I think facing the Packers as a 2 seed is a worse spot to be in than facing the Giants out of the 3 seed.
Okay. Gavin with the donation. If the 49ers organization gets back head coaches Saleh and McDaniels, and if we retain him for 5 seasons, are we back to a dynasty?
I love this question. I love this question so
Gavin,
much.
Look, my question is this. Me being very close to the New York Jets and not just in location now, they've been known to make some rash decisions. I think right now, Saleh's seat is safe.
Yes.
I think everybody sees the defense. I think everybody across the board agrees it's quarterback at this point. And that's not Saleh's fault.
No.
I don't know how much he had to do with the pick of Zach Wilson, whatever it is, but they'll surely either be in the market for a quarterback that is a free agent, i.e. Jimmy Garoppolo, or be looking to move up in the draft and possibly take a new guy and then get a stopgap. So I think Saleh's safe. With Mike McDaniel, Miami makes me a little bit more nervous. With
that rumor came out of nowhere.
Yeah, with the way that they do business. Just because there's 2 names out there that really, really, really are like stuck in my mind as like places where, there's fits. I believe that once Mike McCarthy loses in the playoffs, however he loses, that it's time that Dallas is going ahead and trade for Sean Payton. But let me throw something else at you. Miami makes a rash decision because they got rid of Brian Flores, who was a good coach. Reminder, both teams are 8-8 going into week 18 as they were when Brian Flores was there and Mike McDaniel. The difference is Mike McDaniel was 8-3. Brian Flores was 1-7, and they both got to 8-8. And excuse me for not being sympathetic towards Mike McDaniel being on his 3rd string quarterback, because Kyle Shanahan's on his 3rd string quarterback. You got to find ways to win games, buddy. Same thing with Robert Saleh. He's playing his 3rd quarterback. Sorry, got to find ways to get it done. But Miami is much more likely to make a rash decision and get rid of Mike McDaniel for the idea of bringing in Sean Payton and trying to lure Tom Brady over than they are anything. They shouldn't do that. I don't think they will. But if I had to put a guess on who's more likely to get moved, it would be Mike McDaniel, because I think the Jets are cool with Robert Saleh.
I think, I don't. Just the rashness of how quick this rumor came out that McDaniel might be on the hot seat in Miami should make you a little concerned. I wasn't even necessarily thinking of the Sean Payton name, but isn't Stephen Ross a Michigan man? And isn't there a certain head coach that every year at the end of Michigan, it seems like he may or may not be available? That's another name that could be possible.
Harbaugh right now is making sure that Michigan throws that bag one more time and up his money. I think he's comfortable. I think he's good. I think he's comfortable.
I think Harbaugh, if you give him the money and the title of general manager and head coach, and I don't know if he's getting that in the NFL, but if you give him that, he's gone. He's gone.
All right. Here it is. This is going to divide everybody right here. Gavin asks, who you're the GM for the Jets, Carr or Garoppolo? Who you say?
Carr.
I say Carr too.
Yeah, and nothing against Jimmy. It's just you know what Jimmy is at this point, right? And maybe you know a little bit of what Carr is as well. I just think Carr being a little younger. I've always liked his ability in the pocket more than Garoppolo's. I think he's a little better with the off-schedule plays. I think Carr gives you a little more versatility
I
than
think it's Carr
Garoppolo.
too. I
Yeah.
think that Derek Carr is exactly what he is, which is a mid-tier quarterback. But I do think that he catches way too much flack for the fact that the Raiders are absolutely dog shit as an organization
Oh.
overall. And there was a time where he was an MVP candidate, right? Like
Mhm.
he lifted that team up, man.
Yeah.
Remember, it was Amari, it was Crabtree. He was great. And his numbers kind of just are where they are.
Mhm.
Carr is firmly in that tier of Garoppolo, Cousins, Tannehill,
Mhm.
Carr. Used to be Baker. Baker's not in that tier anymore. But that's the tier, right? Like serviceable starters, know their limitations. But Derek Carr is two things: durable. He's going to play
Yeah.
every single game. Durable, play every single game. And he's a good guy for the locker room. And I
Yeah.
think that he makes throws sometimes that just are like lost by the wayside. Now, does he make some head scratching throws? Fine. But that's why he's in that like middle tier. Again, when we talk about quarterbacks, there's like 5 to 7 dudes, like real dudes, right? Like elite dudes. And that's what makes them elite because there's only 5 to 7 of them. And then everyone else, week to week, shuffles.
Yeah.
Like they shuffle. Like 1 week you can push a guy up to 8. 1 week that guy can be from 8 to 13. Like there's the elite group, and then there's just a bunch of guys. And I think
Yeah.
Carr is just in that group right there. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I'm thinking about changing my answer.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not.
Carr's durable. Carr is durable.
But
Carr's only missed games because they told him to go home.
yeah, that you're absolutely right on that. It's just how do I
We took the
word
cheese,
this?
Gavin
This is
said.
such a good question though, because like it's a question that I feel like it's finally like pretty realistic to ask because I think they're both going to be free agents. But you mentioned the like locker room things, like Jimmy Garoppolo, obviously a great locker room. Obviously, the durability is on Carr's side, but
He has the one injury where he really hurt his leg. Maybe that hurt his mobility, but after that, he's
if
been an Iron Man.
if Jimmy Garoppolo gets bonus points for playing with Kyle Shanahan and Deebo Samuel and George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk and all the, should we be docking points from Derek Carr for objectively having his worst season in a situation where you have Josh Jacobs, Darren Waller, Devontae Adams, and Josh McDaniels, who I know not a great head coach, but he's a good offensive mind?
Counterpoint.
This is a fun comment. I love this episode. I'm having so much fun.
Counterpoint, Andrew.
Yes.
That team has blown multiple 17-point
Yeah.
leads. And the defense, Max Crosby, like, is great. But aside from that, it's just like, and the last game that they won was based on one of the most boneheaded fucking plays I've ever seen in NFL history. Like, even when they win games, it's almost like unbelievable. It's almost unbelievable how they win games at certain points, man. There's an ineptitude that has to go into thinking about how that organization is run. And then he's seen a ton of coaches. John Gruden was fucking fired last year for being a terrible, shitty human being. And then all of a sudden he's asked to continue. Like, Derek Carr has gone through so much, man. And I just feel like if Carr were to get his Harbaugh in the same way that Alex Smith did, you might see some new shit from him.
His Harbaugh being Harbaugh in Indianapolis.
Well, yeah, there you go. Boom, there it is. But here's the thing is I don't think that there's another coach that can squeeze what they can out of Garoppolo like Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Except maybe Harbaugh.
No,
not even Harbaugh.
No, because he won't have the weapons to do it, right? Like Deebo won't break 300 tackles on a screen pass, and Brandon Ayuk won't be baking, digs on a route that he never showed during the season, only showed in the playoffs, like in Indianapolis. Like Pittman's good. I like Pittman a lot. Paris Campbell's there, but like they don't have the same sort of weapons. Like I don't think there's another coach that can get more from Jimmy Garoppolo. If you're getting Jimmy Garoppolo on your team, you are getting not what you're getting out of, like, Kyle Shanahan squoze everything that he could from Jimmy Garoppolo, man. And that's the reason that so many people have so much faith in him. And I think that's a lot of the portion of this that we're talking about.
Oh, man, Gammon. Just so many bangers. Just so many bangers of questions. This is how little I don't want to talk about Niners Cardinals. We've already talked about the playoff portion, so I love.
Oh, all right. So look, prediction: 49ers win. They're gonna get the 7th seed. Yeah, the 49ers win. I mean, they'll. I don't want to give a prediction. I don't care. Blowout, win by 2. They're just gonna win. They're just gonna win. That's it. Okay.
Yeah. Niners win. I don't care. They're probably going to be the 2 seed. That's my prediction. Niners win. They'll be the 2 seed. I think that's the likeliest scenario. Better run game coordinator, Greg Roman or Mike McDaniels? You're the GM, Kaepernick or Lamar, and why? Lamar. Jason, really quick. Do we want to call the audio portion really quick and just take?
Yeah, you know what? I think this is the perfect after dark. Yeah, this is the perfect after.
Yeah,
dark. I like this. Chris Madsen says Niners 53, Cardinals 6. I 6. I think that's a fair way to do this. But yeah, let's do after dark. Let's. It's the last game of the season. Let's do after dark.
Yeah, we already talked about what we needed to talk about, the Niners playoff, worst case, best case. We gave you predictions. As I said, I don't think I can bring myself to care about the physical football game between Niners Cardinals. I do care about the weekend surrounding it. So that's all we're going to kill the audio portion right now. If you were here video, After Dark is going to start here in about 3 minutes. Jason Aponte, as always.
Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners, and let's mess around. Maybe get a 1 seed, get a week off. That'd be cool.
That'd be great. Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners. Sprint Ride Option Podcast. Okay, we're here After Dark. We're hanging out. If you haven't been here for an After Dark, if you're new, anything like that, we don't necessarily take Niner specific questions. We really just take the chat where they want to go, whatever conversation you want to make it. If it's 49er related, hey, that's cool. If it's, we talk about wrestling a lot on After Dark. So if it's wrestling, whatever. If it's whatever you want to bring up.
Here's a wrestling question to start this off real quick. I have a hot take.
Uh-oh.
Dave Bautista is the best wrestler turned actor.
Yes, that's not a hot take. That is correct.
Okay.
No, that is, in terms of brand name, John Cena and The Rock are bigger. In terms of acting, Dave Bautista is number one.
You know what brought me to that realization? Knives Out.
Yeah, Bautista's very good. Like, Bautista's a really good actor.
He's in the new M. Night Shyamalan movie called Knock on the Cabin,
which I'm very excited to see with Rupert, with Ron Weasley.
Right. And so basically the synopsis of that movie is there's a couple, they have a kid together, and they knock on the door, and it seems like a home evasion movie, right? They tie them to a chair and they tell them, the world is about to end. You have to choose one of the 3 people in your family, the 2 men and their son or their daughter. One of you has to sacrifice yourselves, otherwise the world is going to end. That's all the movie's about. So Batista's going to do some heavy acting. So yeah, I got Batista. And also, by the way, I want to say Black Adam is one of the biggest pieces of shit I've ever seen in my entire life. My goodness gracious, what a terrible movie.
Dwayne,
I love you, Rock. I love you, Rock. But what the hell was that, dude? What was that?
Dwayne's not a great actor. Dwayne's just a good person, and I'll give him credit. I love Dwayne. He's very good for his brand, but he's very much he needs to kind of stay within his realm of what he's good at. He can't. I got 20
minutes. I got 20 minutes into that Black Adam movie, and I realized I am just watching this movie just to make fun of it now. At this point, like, there is nothing about this movie that is, and it was so fucking bad, so bad, man. I hated so much for The Rock. I wanted to like that movie so badly, but it was so bad. But let's do it, Gammon. Better run game coordinator, Greg Roman or Mike McDaniel? So let's start with that one. This one for me, it feels like this one. All right, look, I'm gonna start. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
This one is specific to personnel, in my opinion, right? Mike McDaniel with Raheem Mostert, with speed guys, with personnel, can dial this shit up to 11.
Yeah.
Greg Roman, everything is pretty much like inside with fullbacks and a bunch of tight ends, and like their run games are different. And I think a lot of that has to do with the quarterback, right? So Greg Roman's running games have been great with Colin Kaepernick, Tyrod Taylor, Lamar Jackson. Those are guys that can tuck it and run. Mike McDaniel's had great run games with Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think this is more personnel based than I think we're leading on.
I'm not the best guy to ask in terms of specifics and run games. All that's more of a Jason, Rich Madrid, Jordan Elliott,
Jordan Elliott,
uh, uh, Brett. Obviously, like questions
run
for
back.
those guys. But from what I know, I think I would take McDaniels just off the top because there is a little bit of an unknown with him. You don't really know exactly what he is quite yet. You know what he is with the Niners, you know what he is with the Dolphins, but he still has a lot of his career to go. The Greg Roman question is an interesting one because there seems to be conversations going on in Baltimore with Greg Roman's offense and it not really adapting. And it feels like a conversation we had maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago, give or take.
Wait,
And
Andrew, wait a minute. Hold on a second. You mean to tell me Greg Roman's offense was killing for a little while, now seems to be figured out, and he has no answers on how to adjust?
yeah.
I mean, where have I seen this movie before? Wait, San Francisco, Buffalo, and Baltimore? Holy
Yes.
shit. There's never been a guy who has gotten more chances and had the same exact thing happen every single time than Greg Roman.
And so that's why I think I take McDaniels because Greg Roman has a trend. I think it's a known trend at this point.
I like it.
I don't know what McDaniels is quite yet
And
because I've seen limited.
And McDaniel doesn't need a running quarterback to have his run game succeed. Roman does. McDaniels had a successful run game with Jimmy Garoppolo and Raheem Mostert. You know, if you have the proper linemen, you have the guys who can execute the scheme, he can get it done with a stationary quarterback. So, you know what? Give me Mike McDaniel. Thank you, Andrew Pasquini.
I got you.
Around. Now,
I got you.
You're the GM, Kaepernick or Lamar, and why? It's got to be Lamar, man. Like, look. All right, so wait. Let me ask this real quick. Is this in picking one of the run game coordinators and the actual quarterback together?
I was taking them as separate.
Okay, so if it's separate, then it's Lamar. I mean, Lamar's a unanimous MVP. Lamar deserves the bag. Lamar's played, recently, like that.
I was taking this question as in peak Cap versus peak Lamar.
Oh, peak Cap or
I'm
peak
not
Lamar.
taking as of right this second, I'm picking like Lamar, and it's not even
Lamar
close.
still though. Lamar still though, Cameron.
I think I'd go Kaepernick just for the arm talent, but that's not necessarily Lamar's fault because what if he signs for, let's just throw Vegas out there, and not even just Devontae Adams, but Hunter Renfrow might be the best receiver he'd ever have in Baltimore. It's not like Baltimore's ever given him a good receiver. So I do want to see maybe a little bit more of him as a passer just to see what he can do with real. Honestly, I don't know if I can name one wide receiver on the Ravens right this second.
That's active?
Yeah.
Deshaun Jackson.
But isn't that kind of the issue? Is Deshaun Jackson's the name that first comes to your mind when thinking about the Ravens receivers?
Duvernay's on IR, Rashad Bateman's on IR, James Prosh, Demarcus Robinson, Isaiah Likely, Mark. All right, I'm sorry.
You get my point, though, right? None of those names are exactly top end NFL receivers. I know there's some potential in there. Don't want to take them away. But yeah, I think Kaepernick just for the arm talent, just for the arm strength. We know him as a passer a little bit more than what Lamar is. But I love Lamar. If you told me the Niners signed Lamar this offseason, I'd be very excited.
It's Lamar because defensive coordinators lie awake at night trying to figure out how the fuck are we going to slow down this absolute freak with the football, man. So yeah, give me Lamar.
Bear with me. McDaniels gets fired. Bring him back as the run game coordinator. Lamar Jackson with Christian McCaffrey.
Christ almighty. Pray for the league. Pray for the league.
And he has receivers to throw to.
Right. The mods are cooking. Ariel's in here. Shout out to Ariel. He came to the East Coast, didn't let me know he was coming. It's all right, man. Maybe next time. What's your opinion on the neutral site AFC Championship and coin toss for the wild card home field? Ariel, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm an old man. So I went to sleep last night around 9:15. And what I've done, my New Year's resolution, it's been 5 straight days. I'm in the gym. 5 straight days.
Swole Ponte?
Yeah, not swole, just trying to, extend my life. Extend my life. Be more healthy. Cut out drinking, all that stuff.
Like a toned man.
Hey, man, look, the belly's going away. I'm cooking y'all in the summer. But
Weigh like
I
90
fell
pounds.
asleep. I wake up and I open my eyes at 10:45 because Avery hasn't fallen asleep in her room. And I look at my phone and I see this long email from the NFL because I'm credentialed for the Super Bowl, by the way, in case you guys didn't know. And I see this long email that says all of these scenarios about why this game's not going to be played and who's going to get what. I don't have strong feelings on this because I'll be honest with you, Ariel. I read that shit 5-6 times. I still have no fucking idea what the hell is going on or who is doing what and what's going to happen.
Right.
So if someone can explain this shit to me like a 5-year-old, maybe I'll have a strong opinion, but I don't have an opinion. Andrew, what do you think?
So yeah, man, my opinion is kind of the same thing. I don't understand what the hell's going on. But I think the like TLDR of it is if Cincinnati or Buffalo plays Kansas City, there's a oh wait, no, the Ravens posted on the coin flip scenario. A Ravens win with a Chargers win and a coin toss win would get the Ravens, which is just they made a graphic saying coin toss win. But I think essentially the neutral field would come into play if the Chiefs play either the Bills or the Bengals in the AFC Championship game. The coin toss, honestly, man, if you're gonna do a coin toss, at least do a Madden simulation. Like just see how much you have the world in the palm of your hands as the NFL, and just be like, hey, ESPN, we're gonna finish this game that we didn't finish, but on Madden. We're gonna play Bengals Bills in Madden. Winner gets home field or whatever the thing would be, because like if you're just doing a coin toss, at least let EA decide it with their garbage football game.
I mean, is it going to be a simulation, or should we get the best Bills player in Madden to play?
Oh no, it's computer against computer.
No, let's make it skill at this point, right? All these guys
skill?
play Madden, right? Like they're done with practice. They get in their room. I'm sure they're playing Madden. I mean, shit. LeBron turned 38, dropped a triple double, and went to his crib and turned on Madden. His wife was like, "What are you doing?" She was like, "This is how I want to spend my." So if LeBron's playing Madden, these guys are playing Madden. So
Josh Allen versus
Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. All right, so let's see, leader Joe and Josh Allen. If you haven't played, oh well, figure it out. Same thing. Joe Burrow, figure it out. The same thing.
I love it.
Gammon's cooking right now.
Gammon, we appreciate the donation.
Yeah, look at this. Now he's ready to put you in a blender, and you're starting this one.
Would you trade J.J. Watt for Bosa? No. Would you rather have Pittsburgh defense or 49ers defense? Ooh. Bonus question: is there another defense you covet more than the current 49ers defense? No, I would not trade Nick Bosa for TJ Watt. And a little secret here: I'm one of those people who, when I watch the rest of the league, I watch Red Zone. I'm 100% a Red Zone fan. I watch the Niners religiously. I know everything about them. So yeah, I would pick the Niners defense just based off of that. I know them. I'm more comfortable. That's nothing against Pittsburgh. It's more of an Andrew fault than anything else. And is there another defense you covet more than the current Niners defense? No, I do firmly believe where the Niners defense has been this season makes them the best defense in the NFL. Just at every level, there's playmakers. I'll include Talanoa Hufanga in there, but Hufanga, Charvarius Ward, and then you go to linebacker. All three linebackers are ballers. And then the pass rush, the defensive line, there's 3 or 4 studs there. I think the Niners defense is the best in the league, and I don't think I'd take any other defense ahead of them.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade TJ Watt for Bosa. I think we've seen the peak of TJ Watt. I think we're still seeing Nick Bosa. You know, they've taken the Defensive Player of the Year award bet off the table because it's insurmountable odds for Nick Bosa. 10 plus pressures in 2+ games. I don't know if you guys know, Andrew and I write for Niners Nation. I did the season awards. I had Nick Bosa as the team MVP, and I feel like he's still scratching the surface. Richard Sherman said as much as well too. Nick Bosa is a top 1 player in this game. I don't think TJ Watt can say the same.
He's not even remotely close to his peak.
No, I don't think so either. And every year he adds a little bit more. Would I rather have the Pittsburgh defense or the 49ers defense? Minka Fitzpatrick is a baller. I mean, if the 49ers ever had a chance to draft him, man, I wonder why they wouldn't. Oh, wait. I'm just kidding. Mike McGlinchey's coming back. I don't want you guys to get all mad.
We got Mike McGlinchey.
I would definitely take the 49ers defense. I mean, when you look at the first and second level, I don't think that you can make a case that anybody has a first and second level that's better. If Emmanuel Mosley was healthy, unfortunately, even if Jason Verrett was healthy, I don't think that anybody is necessarily as panicked as they are in the secondary. And while Hufanga struggled now, you can't ignore what he did early on in the season and still write him off as he can't figure it out. So for me, give me the 49ers defense. So yes, and also, Gammon, there's no other defense that I would covet more than this defense at this point. I mean, the only thing that I would say that I would covet more from another defense is what the Philadelphia Eagles are able to run out at both corner positions with James Bradbury and Darius Slay. I mean, I don't think that there's a better 1-2 combination than those two right there. And then they're getting CJ Gardner-Johnson back. CJ Johnson back. Like the Eagles have a secondary that's fucking incredible, but they don't have linebackers better than the 49ers, and their front four is not better than the 49ers. So if I had to covet a position group, it's the Eagles secondary, because oh my God, James Bradbury and Darius Slade, that is not fair, man. The Giants cut him and just let him walk. I mean, he's like a top 1, 2, 3 like cover corner in the league, and so is Darius Slade. I mean, I don't know how you can match that.
You don't. Plain and simple. You just don't. The Eagles secondary is very good. I still think the Niners can beat them just because of the run game. Favorite sneaker, model in CW, ever line up.
Ever line up.
Okay, see, so that's my answer is I didn't know what half of this meant. What's CW? What's a lineup? So I'll let Jason take this one.
Jordan 1. Band Jordan 1s, black and red. A sneaker that Michael Jordan wore as his first signature sneaker that he was not allowed to wear in the league. Also, by the way, I'm biased. My first pair of sneakers as a kid. In the 80s, spending $50 on a pair of sneakers for a toddler was unheard of. Unheard of. I also want to say that that's where my sneaker love was born from, but also that my parents weren't able to buy me Jordans after those Jordans. Look, I didn't run around in bum-ass sneakers when I was a kid, but I sure didn't have Jordans. And I always promised myself when I was a kid, when I was older, whenever I had money, whenever I got my own money, I was going to buy any pair of sneakers I ever wanted. And also, one of my first jobs was working at Foot Locker. That discount was pretty sweet. And this was the time where you could take a sneaker and just put it to the side and say, that's mine when they first released. And you can hold them off. That is something that is not possible anymore. But yeah, band Jordan 1s, black and red, man. They're an all-purpose sneaker. I can wear them with a suit jacket. I can wear them with my sweats. I can wear them with jeans. I can wear them whatever. Andrew, and I can't wait to see Andrew's.
I got so the white ones. So I got the blacks, the black free runs, and the pink and green ones. So I have two of the same shoes. That's my shoe collection. I just showed. Oh, I also have these Niners slides that are pretty cool. Like
I wear these most of the time, so I shouldn't be talking shit. Dude. This is all I wear.
I'm a big chancla guy.
I'm a big chancla. No, chancla. Say chancla.
Chancla.
Chancla. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Chancla. There you go.
Gammon, thank you very much for the donation. Again, speaking in resistance, I'm pursuing a degree in digital marketing, and I will promote this program to be the top 49ers content. My dream. We love that dream. We've already talked about it.
I love that for you, Gammon.
We'll talk about it.
On top of you, Gammon, serving this country. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
You continue to aspire to do great things. I love that. And even if we aren't the top 49er content, I love this for you, and I think this is great for you. And as long as you're continuing to improve yourself, that's all I care about. Oh, here you go.
I'm assuming he's not talking about the free runs. I'm assuming he's talking about the slides.
The slides? Derek, are you talking about the slides?
I'm assuming he's talking about the slide. I don't think anything else I have is fire. The slides I got for – I don't even know where I got them. I don't.
Luis knows.
I got them for Christmas.
The chancla is law. Is law, bro. Is law. Like my mom was able to just like fire that off. And look, he said, "Yep."
I would just look at the Nike store. Paul agrees with me though. He only has Crocs and running shoes. I think that's the way to go. I need Crocs. I need to up my Croc game.
And are you going to get a bunch of those medallions and stuff on them?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be with Brock Purdy's face on it. I'll get a Brock Purdy medallion. I'll get a Niners medallion, whatever they're called. We're talking about Crocs here on the Sprint Red Option podcast. I love it.
I mean, it's after dark. We talk about whatever we want.
But yeah, no. If I had to pick a shoe, I do like the Ben and Jerry Nikes. Those are pretty cool. And I like the KD2 creamsicles. I think they were one of KD's first pair of shoes. They're all orange, and I liked it. Harish, I apologize if I butchered that. I'm sorry if I did. Tell me how to pronounce it right. I'll pronounce it right. I promise. TBH, I'm just sick of playing the Packers. Every time Niners beat the Packers, then they lose to the Packers. But the difference this time is the Niners have a quarterback right now. Fair.
Jimmy Garoppolo's on his couch right now watching something on Netflix, just catching a stray. He's just like, "Oh, my ears ringing. Like, what did I do? Like, what happened?"
Jimmy Garoppolo watches this podcast. We love him. Thanks, James.
Jimmy,
I call
I
him
love you, man.
No,
And I'm
I'm
gonna send you my
on the
jersey so you can sign it.
But yeah, no, listen, I get this. I'm not saying I am afraid to play the Packers in the first round. I am just saying the idea
You'd
of
rather not.
playing the Packers scares the shit out of me. So I guess I am saying I'm scared to play the Packers. I listen. I don't doubt the Niners defense. I just doubt that the way the secondary is playing right now against the way Aaron Rodgers is playing right now scares me. And that's kind of where it comes from.
That's a valid concern. It is.
Thank you.
That's a valid concern.
Yeah. Some people are concerned about the 49ers quarterback position next year. I'm concerned about real things right now.
And some people were mad at us because we were scared about Talanoa Hufanga coming into the season. And here we are. And he's not the only one. And it wouldn't be this way if Emmanuel Mosley was fine.
How would you rank the 5 members of the 49ers secondary?
Ready?
Because I think 1 and 2 is easy. So the 5 members I'm saying
There's 2 wards.
2 wards, Hufanga, Gibson, and Lenore.
Yeah.
Those are the 5 members. How would you rank that?
Mooney, Jimmy, Hufanga, Gibson, and Lenore.
So I would go. God, I'm going to get yelled at for this.
Yeah, you are.
I would go Ward. I don't need to disclose which Ward is first. I think they're both very good and very important. I'm going to go Gibson and then Hufanga. And I understand why that's weird because Hufanga has the interceptions and all that stuff. But I'm going with, the saying of like, if you know an umpire's name, it's not a good thing because like you're probably yelling at the umpire more than you're not. It's kind of how it is with Hufanga. I feel like I never hear Gibson's name to a fault. Like I just feel like he's the least talked about member of the secondary. Where like, sometimes we're talking about Hufanga and the interceptions, but I feel like recently we're talking about Hufanga because of what he's not doing. And I think that's where I'll go Gibson over Hufanga.
That's fair. I just have a little bit more faith in Hufanga to make a play that'll change a game than Gibson will. I think that he's getting close to being due. He's getting close to be. I mean, if he's not due, you know what? If he's due, don't do it this week. Save it for next week.
Yeah, but then I just don't want to test how due he is against Aaron Rodgers. I'd rather test how due he is against Geno
But if he picks off Aaron Rodgers,
it's the momentum that they need. But if it's just, and it isn't even. I'm scared of Hufanga versus Rodgers. I'm scared of the Niners secondary against Rodgers because of how they played.
Yeah. Gavin says favorite basketball shoe, favorite skateboarding shoe. Now I have both, so I can answer this one with fair expertise. Favorite basketball shoe is Jordan 1. No, favorite basketball shoe to actually hooping, Jordan 3s for me.
Okay.
And favorite skateboarding shoe, I just bought a pair of Vans. I love them, man. They're clean as hell. They are clean as shit, man. I love them. They're incredible. And on Breezy, Demo didn't give up that first touchdown to Wallace. They're in quarters. They're in quarters. They're not so they're in technically cover 6. I know a lot of people don't believe that cover 6 exists, but it's cover 2 to one side and then it's cover 4 to the other. Either way, it's quarters, like in that way where they had to play quarters. Hufanga got caught with bad eyes and D'Amico confirmed it. So yeah, it was on Hufanga. Waller got caught up in it too. I mean Lenore got caught up in it too, but that's what he was talking about with bad eyes. I thought it was Hufanga initially. Rich yelled at me and said, "Don't care, man. It's Lenore." And then later on was like, "Oh man, shit, it wasn't."
I like how we both used that group chat to be like, "Hey, whose fault was that?" Like everybody.
Right, yeah, I was like fucking Hufanga again, and he was like, "Well, I don't care, man. It wasn't on Hufanga." He was, and then a day later, he was like, "Man, I watched it. It's on Hufanga." I'm like, so don't yell at me, Rich. Like Rich is great. He's a resource. I use him all the time. But he yelled at me when I initially got it right, and then called me right after, and then he made me doubt myself. Like I was like, "Wait a minute, am I wrong?" Like, and then when you watch it, it was Hufanga. But Dom says,
"Oh, what's up, Dom? Holy shit! Never. What's up, Dom?
If Nike came out with Crocs cleats, which Niner would be the first to wear them? I think this is easy, right? It's got to be Kittle, right?
Bosa.
No, you know who it is? The guy who actually wears the Crocs.
Brock Purdy.
Kinlaw.
I didn't know which Niner wore Crocs, and Kinlaw was the last name I expected you to say.
Kinlaw, big Croc.
Yeah, man, thank you again for the donations. The program had a call in. Would you do it? Want to support Mod Squad gear with you? Anyone interested in a meet and greet? Call-in show happens once every so often. We do that.
We'll probably do it this week to fill content like during the week after the 49ers get the 1 seed and Tyrod Taylor leads a game-winning drive down the field to beat the Eagles. We'll have to fill content somehow. No, you know what? I would like to do it before the first playoff game this week, just because the last time we did it was super fun. We had Andrew on, we had Javi on. That shit was electric. We had a great time talking. So yeah, we do it. Y'all, if y'all want to get Mod Squad stuff done, let me know. Like we know some people who can get some shirts done and shit.
Meet and greets are difficult considering we live on opposite sides of the United States. Maybe we can meet in like Nebraska.
No.
In the middle.
Ambry's gonna have 2 pick sixes versus Rodgers. We'll be all right. Derek.
Okay.
Derek, I like drugs. I like drugs too.
I was gonna go that route too. Oh man.
No, you know what's funny? All right, look. So let's have a serious conversation about the secondary. Yes. Because people have asked me, in the comments, well, why not Ambry? It can't be worse.
It can be.
It can be worse.
Respectfully.
Look. All right, look. In camp, when we were there, Samuel Womack was the slot guy. And you saw he started the season, right? Then Lenore took over. I can't really point to something that Samuel Womack did to lose the job, right? Like, it wasn't like Samuel Womack was getting beat like a drum in the slot, right? And obviously, this is, again, with Mosley there. But then Lenore takes over, and he does very well. And it looks like, obviously, he's done something in practice. Ambry Thomas last year, the 49ers did an incredible job accounting for him, covering him, making sure that he wasn't put in harm's way. And I think you saw in the NFC Championship, the reason Odell Beckham had like 8 catches in the first half was because Ambry Thomas was like 15 yards off of him. And it was just easy, just like get off the line, go to slant, catch a pass. I think there's a lot to do with what's going on up here with him.
Yeah.
Because in camp, he was dreadful. And now he's injured. He's out for this game, right? His ankle's injured. He's been playing special teams. Lenore's your best shot. If you are going to replace Lenore with anybody, it's Jack Rabbit Jenkins.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
And that still doesn't feel great.
It feels better. It feels better than Ambry. I promise
the Niners had 2 cornerbacks that I haven't really seen have this happen to last season. And that was Josh Norman and Ambry Thomas. And teams, when they had that matchup, no matter who they were on, changing their game plan to attack them. The teams haven't really done that with the Amador Lenore, and I think Lenore's better than that. I mean, I know he had the off game against the Raiders, but really that's been his worst game since Carolina.
Let's keep it a buck. Ambry Thomas, while I said he had a tough game, I think what I was more worried about was the way that he was being thrown at repeatedly, and they ran the ball right at him, and he missed 2 tackles, and it was so bad. Now, the one catch that he allowed for 46 yards, which accounted for a good portion of what he gave up because he gave up 108 yards.
Yeah.
You could debate, many of you can, that it wasn't really a catch, and he was right in the right spot, right? As opposed to like Hufanga. Hufanga's chasing, and the gap widens when he's chasing just because of straight line speed. At least you could say Lenore was in the right spot, right? Like he was there. Yeah. And if that's anybody else but Devontae Adams, that's incomplete
Yeah.
clearly, you know.
Yeah.
So
it's like Adams touchdown over Ward. Like,
yeah, Mooney
sucks it
jumped down too
happened, but
early.
the Adams is Adams. Like, what are you
Yeah.
gonna do?
So like for me,
But
I'm trying to put a positive spin on Lenore because I
uh,
do want him to stay out there, and I don't think that it's fair to the kid after he struggles just a little bit to say, "Get your ass out of there." And we also have to understand it's Devontae Adams.
he is the best, as I drop stuff, he is the best 49ers cornerback not named Ward and Mosley on this team. That's the nicest way.
For sure.
Niners, Dodgers,
I
interesting
love
combo.
this.
Dodgers suck. We hate it. So how did he call out Ayuk?
No, shout out to the Dodgers. You got rid of Trevor Bauer. Shout out to the Dodgers.
I don't care. Yeah. Shout out Dodgers for that. Bare minimum. How did so I'm confused. I didn't see this. I must admit I had a busy day at work today.
Yeah.
How did Shanahan call out Ayuk?
So I think 49er fans have universal praise for Brandon Ayuk in this Raiders game. We're all walking away like, oh my God, wide receiver 1. You know, if he cleans up the drops, he'll be fine. Shanahan was like, well, I think, he has some things that he needs to clean up and work on. And I didn't think it was his best game. And here's what Coach is learning. Coach is learning how to push buttons and who to push them on. And this is his way that he motivates Brandon Ayuk. And who's to say that these results are wrong? Now, in this Niner Nations article that I wrote about end of season awards, I wrote that Brandon Ayuk is the most improved player on the 49ers. And I had a comment that came out and said, this is disrespectful to Brandon Ayuk because he's been a dog and you're disrespecting his talent. The real insult is you believing that Brandon Ayuk has no more to grow and add to his game, and he's already plateaued in year 3. That's the real insult. That's not an insult from me. It's praise. The real insult is anybody believing that Brandon Ayuk has already hit his ceiling in year 3, and he absolutely hasn't. But let's take it back a little bit further. Training camp. Mm-hmm. You go there every single day at training camp, and he is dominating every day. Doesn't matter. Mooney Ward, Emmanuel Mosley, doesn't matter who's in front of him. You're getting cooked. The ball's getting, I'm going to catch the ball. That's Brandon Ayuk. But when it really turned, when it really changed, was that fight with Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw. And I'm not telling you that fighting is good. What I am telling you is this. That was Brandon Ayuk telling everyone on the team, I am not just a contributor on the field. I am a leader. I am here. You have to feel me. I defend my teammates. I am part of this culture. I am strengthening this core, this locker room, everything. That's when we all should have known that Brandon Ayuk was about to do what he was going to do this season.
Yeah.
So when people come to me and they ask me, well, it's an insult to say that he improved because he's been good. It's an insult for you to say that he plateaued in year 3 when all he's doing is adding to his bag and getting better. The man's uncoverable. Now, with Shanahan just knows how to push his buttons, man. Yeah. He just knows how to push his buttons, and he knows that this is the way to motivate him. He put him in a doghouse, and he got out. And he got right out. You know how he got out? By working. He listened to coach. He took the coaching. Shanahan knows that he can take the criticism. Now, what I will give Shanahan credit for is that he's not doing this to everybody. There's no paint by numbers for everybody, right? Like it's not a color, a cutout for everybody on how to coach. But with Ayuk, he realized that he can press him and get him angry, and somehow he plays better when he's angry. So that's my take on that. Andrew?
I don't know what else to say because I think you just said literally everything that needed to be said. But in terms of the calling out, the coaching style, I think that's absolutely what this is. You do have to remember that Ayuk was in the quote unquote Shanahan doghouse at the start of, like, remember when he just didn't get targets at the start of last season? Maybe this is how it was questions of how motivated he was or was not, whatever you want to believe. Maybe this is how Shanahan realized that this is how he gets the best out of Ayuk, is things like this, because obviously it's working. He's having a career year. He's 44 yards away from 1,000 yards for the first time in his career. He's already set a career high in receptions, things like that. He is. I said this last year. One of my takes was he was going to become wide receiver number 1 at some point on the Niners team. He is wide receiver 1 at this point. I think that's locked in. I think that's the answer, no matter if Debo's on the field or not. Brandon Ayuk's wide receiver 1, and I think that's the motivation he has. Dawson, favorite video game right now? Jason, is it Charlie Brown's Big Adventure?
Snoopy's Grand Adventure, baby.
Yeah,
you know what
man.
I've been doing now? I've gone back after I've beaten everything, and I'm going back and finding all of the Woodstock Beagle Scouts. And as I do, the more that I do it, Snoopy's family comes into the background in the beginning of the game. Like Spike and all his family, they're the band in the background. I am this close to platinuming Snoopy's Grand Adventure. This is why I brought my PlayStation 5. It wasn't for God of War or for Miles Morales or for Guardians of the Galaxy or any of the games that I have. I haven't played any of those games. It's Snoopy's Grand Adventure, Dawson, and it's by a mile.
Hell yeah. Not even close. I'm at my point where I just got bored of MLB The Show 22, and I'm waiting for MLB The Show 23 to come out. I've been playing FIFA to fill the gap. And I just bought F1 as well, which is a fun racing game. So FIFA 23, come find me.
Nice.
I'll beat you in FIFA.
Nice. I'm just waiting for Resident Evil 4, a few other horror.
Harry Potter.
No thanks.
Oh, come on!
All right.
God.
Fun fact, and this is gonna get me crushed. Fun fact.
Yeah.
I've never seen a single Harry Potter movie.
Oh Jesus Christ, man!
I got God of War. I got it. That's what my PlayStation is, the God of War Ragnarok edition, and I can't even fucking play it because my daughter is a menace and an absolute dictator.
I want to go back to the Harry Potter thing you just said.
I've never seen any Harry Potter movie.
You need to watch all the Harry Potter
But it's not me. But it's not me. Like, it's not me taking a stance against it. Like, I hate Avatar. Okay, that's me taking a stance against Avatar.
I'm more of the Last Airbender than the Blue people.
I'm way more on board with Last Airbender than I am Avatar with the Blue people. That's a stand. I don't have a strong stance on Harry Potter. In fact, I love all the geek shit. I love all the geek shit. I've watched every single Lord of the Rings. I've watched all the Star Wars, everything. And even if they're not my favorite, I watched them. Harry Potter seems like it's right on my alley. It's never really fallen into place for me to sit in front of a TV and watch it.
What if I told you Goblet of Fire, which is the 4th Harry Potter movie, is the greatest sports movie of all time?
I'd call you a bold ass liar because how is it better than Major League?
You need to see it.
This Batman's is not a lie.
Elden Ring is very fun. I haven't beaten it yet, but Elden Ring is very fun
and frustrating. And you know how I know? Because I played Bloodborne. And oh my God, man, I played an hour of it and I died 300 times. And I was like, I'm sick of this fucking game. Why is it so hard?
I like the idea of playing Fall Guys drunk. I don't drink, though. I do other things, and I'd rather do it that way. But Fall Guys is a fun game. Fall Guys is cool. In fact,
you know what? Avery's asleep. I'm home alone. It's 9:30. Maybe I should get in front of God of War.
Maybe we should play. Yeah, maybe you should play a little God of War. Jason, you should be a Twitch streamer.
Never.
Why?
Well, there's an idea, and this is something I'd float out to you because I'd love to have you on. There's an idea for Niners Nation during the offseason. Rob Guerrero wants to start a Twitch channel where we sit around and we play video games and we talk Niners football. Yeah, I
have equipment to stream.
So,
if we could incorporate that, I would do it.
There's an idea that Rob wants to do, and we've talked about it many times, about in the offseason, we fuck around, just play video games, and just talk Niners on the Twitch. And so that's perfect.
Listen, I do 2 things in life, and that's watch 49ers and play video games. I have a girlfriend, and she's not even in the rotation, dude.
I thought it was
chewing bubble gum and kicking ass, and I'm all
kicking ass, and I'm all out of gum. I thought I was like, holy shit! It just about to...
Hey, man. Roddy Piper, we love him. Derek, I probably don't want to start a Madden franchise because that game sucks. Respectfully, EA, if you ever want to send me a free copy, I love your games, but that's cool. But yeah, I've had the thought of the idea I had, Jason, between you and I, we haven't talked about, is if we ever play MLB The Show against each other, to get that on a Twitch stream, because I think that'd be pretty entertaining.
Yankees Giants.
We could probably connect it to your YouTube channel, actually.
Yankees
Giants, me using Carlos Correa and Mitch Haniger, you using Aaron Judge and
using Carlos Correa, the guy from the Pirates, Aaron Judge, and Carlos Rodon. It sounds good to me.
I'm so excited for the guy from the Pirates.
Pirates.
Like I honestly, the guy from the Pirate, I love him. He's the guy I want the job. I don't love him enough to learn his name, but the guy from the Pirates, we need him. He's really what's gonna
Andrew,
push the Yankees.
This is how down in Yankee fans are on baseball. It's like that guy on the Pirates that everybody's like wanting.
Ryan
To, like,
Reynolds.
Yeah, all right. He's got to be good, right? They want him, right? Like, I guess.
Hey, listen. I think it's worse for my brand that I can't name a receiver on the Ravens right now, because considering we talk football on YouTube, than it is you not being able to name that guy on the Pirates.
That guy on the Pirates, man. He's fucking nice. He's already my favorite player. He's not even on the team yet.
Man, the Yankees and Giants both have a history of that guy on the Pirates, considering they've both had the greatest that guy on the Pirates and Andrew McCutchen.
Wow, I love that, because I you know what, you completely misdirected me there, and I obviously thought you were going one way, and the obvious joke was there. That's a classic Simpsons move right there. Is the bait and switch right there. I love it, Andrew.
O'Neal Cruz is also that guy on the Pirates. He's a pretty good one.
O'Neal Cruz. Yeah. Oh man, he's like fucking 6'7", a shortstop. Makes no sense.
He's throwing 97 miles an hour from short.
Ridiculous,
it's unbelievable.
Man. All right, enough with baseball before we get canceled. Andrew Pasquini, as always.
Oh, Jason Aponte, as always.
Let's go Niners. Thank you guys, man. It's been a hell of a season. We love you.
Let's go Wolves. I hope they beat Liverpool in the third round of the what's it called? Gray Fox, thanks for the donation. Is Brian Greasy the real deal?
All right. Yes. We got to take it.
We got to take it. Right in before the buzzer. Xavier
Nady, baby.
Was Xavier Nady, Dom, on the Giants? I don't remember him on the Giants, but who cares?
Nady.
Gray Fox, forgot that shit. Is Brian Greasy the real deal? I don't see why he's not. I feel like he's a name that we haven't talked about enough. I don't think a lot of people have talked about enough. But I think it's safe to say he's gotten the best. I think his best piece of evidence is he got us talking about Jimmy Garoppolo as like a legitimate starter after years of us trying to replace Jimmy Garoppolo.
I think that the reason that people don't bring up Greasy is because they can't put their finger on exactly what it is that he's improved. But if you just look at the overall play of the quarterbacks, including Jimmy Garoppolo, who's only thrown 4 interceptions to 16 touchdowns, and Brock Purdy's thrown 4 interceptions in this entire time. And then when you contrast that with veteran and rookie, I think that Brian Greasy absolutely deserves it. If we shit on mid-ass Scangarello for nobody ever, improving, then I have to give credit to Brian Greasy. I think that the people's hesitance to give him credit is because they don't know what to give him credit for. Is it footwork? Is it playbook? Is it arm placement? Those things. So for me, I do think he deserves credit. I just think people are hesitant to give it away because they don't know why that they're going to be giving him the credit. Great Fox. Thank you for the donation again.
Thank you for
Xavier
the donation, Fox.
Forever Yankee.
Forever Yankee. Yeah, that's what honestly, I think he was a random pirate guy.
He was a random pirate guy. That's why he brought him up.
Anyway, Jason Aponte, as always.
Let's go Niners, and we love you guys. What a season.
Let's go Niners. Let's keep talking about it until February, huh?
Damn right. Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go